welcome to the Be Do Knit podcast. My name is Amy, and this is my podcast where I talk about my knitting, what I am making, what I aspire to make, and some acquisitions, some knitspiration, and whatever else I might get up to in the yarny world. So today I have a couple of whips to update you on. And then I'm going to talk about my Sock KAL that is currently going on. And I finally got a Ravelry group page, so I'll talk about that. And then I'm going to be talking about summer tees. So many of us are transitioning from knitting with wool to knitting with plant fibers. So I have 12 tees that I am going to talk to you about, and I'm super excited to share those with you. They're either in my favorites on Ravelry or they are in my queue or in my library. And in Ravelry, the library is kind of where, you know, you can see all the patterns you've purchased. So I'm going to talk about that. Then I have a couple of acquisitions to share. I went to the Shepherd's Harvest Sheep and Wool Festival last weekend. And then I am going to be talking about someone who's inspiring me. So some knitspiration is what I call it. So if any of that sounds interesting, stay tuned. Okay, today I have a couple of whips, or I actually have an FO that's staring you right in the face. This is the Anders Tee that I gave to Gina the last time I podcasted. However, when I made the Anders Tee, I'll just bring this right up here. When I made the Anders Tee the first time, this sleeve was quite a bit longer than this one. What happened was I was holding stitches on this sleeve on a US 6, but this project is made with a US 7. And so I made this one with the US 7, and then when I was holding this sleeve with the US 6, I just kept those needles on there and started knitting. I don't know, you guys. Do you all make as many mistakes as I do? I mean, this is just... I know I'm multitasking when I do this, and I am on allergy meds, so perhaps I can blame the allergy meds, but no, it happens year-round. I get distracted. I'm watching a murder mystery. I'm playing with my dogs. I don't know. I just get distracted and I start doing something wrong. I think during Vlogmas, I shared about my Murray cable tee. I made that panel, the front and back panel, I made 4 panels of that tee because one time I knit the whole thing and it's fingering weight with a really small needle. I made the whole, like the front in a, I don't know, it was just a needle size down from what I made the back. How does this happen? I don't know. I don't know. But it does, and it happens a lot to me. So, then what I'm wearing, so this is the Anders Tee. I have a couple of ends to weave in, but this is an FO for the second time. Needles and the damage done. So yeah, that is the Anders Tee, and it is done. So I know I've talked about it so much. It is a gorgeous tee. Someday I might make that for myself because I have major dragon sickness right now, which is what Andrea from Fruity Knitting calls it when you want to keep something for yourself. It's happening. So anyway, I have kind of grown into this love affair with this sort of Limonata color. I don't know. I'm really into yellow right now. I don't know if it's because summer is coming. It just brings me life, this bright color. So anyway, I thought I'd show you guys this. I picked this up at a little shop in St. Paul last summer, and it's kind of like, it's knit. I don't know. Yeah, it's knit. But it's, you know, it's store-bought. So, but it is definitely, you know, kind of like a lacework knit pattern. And I love this little scalloped edge at the bottom. It's really inspiring me. I want to make something similar. But the back is a little more see-through. the front has like a double panel. So anyway, I just thought this was a great little tank and I wanted to show you. And then these earrings are from Melissa Jenkins. So Melissa Jenkins lives in, I think, Madison, Wisconsin. And if you watched the Jackie Rose or Caddy and Jack's podcast, they often wore Melissa Jenkins earrings, and I bought these in this lavender color. And there is something happening with me with this yellow and lavender together. I was gonna wear this tank and I was like, you know what? I want to wear those lavender earrings. I haven't had an occasion to wear them. It's kind of hard to wear lavender earrings. I don't know. I don't know what to wear it with. But speaking of whips, okay, that was my only FO back there. Once I hit start on this podcast, it kind of goes where my mind goes. So hang on for the ride, people. This is a shawl pattern that I was working on last summer. I ripped it back several times. I've never really designed a shawl or made many shawls at all. And so I really didn't understand or know what I was doing. And so a couple times I had to rip back. Nothing like just jumping into designing something when you've never really even made a shape. Like I think this is going to be a crescent shape shawl. We'll see what happens. But anyway, it is this lavender and yellow color again. I mean, I'm obsessed. So this shawl, yeah, I started it last summer, and the fiber in here, that purple is hedgehog fibers in this lavender kind of speckled yarn, and then it's held with, I don't even know, it was in my stash. I bought this yellow color and a gray color, and I was going to learn how to brioche, and I was going to start with a pair of socks. And I bought the yarn at Stephen B in Minneapolis, and it sat in my stash and I never used it. And then when I bought this hedgehog fibers yarn, sock yarn, I was like, ooh, really like that with the yellow. So anyway, this is happening. I don't know when I'm going to finish it. I don't know what's coming next. It might, I don't know. It's been sitting here, languishing whip design in progress. So yeah, and then in the meantime, I don't know if you saw Stephen West just put out a shawl pattern basically in these same exact colors and in a stripe pattern. I was like, that happens. I mean, there's just like a design and a color energy in the world, and apparently Stephen West and I had those two colors going on. I mean, these are very Stephen West colors, let's face it, but I love the fact that he put out this pattern. I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't keep working on that scarf, but you know what? His is very different, or different enough, I think, than what mine would be. And let's face it, like, I'm a beginner scarf knitter or shawl knitter, and he's like an expert shawl knitter, so they're gonna be way different, okay? But I just thought it was so funny that it looks like the same exact yarn was used for both. So funny. So anyway, yeah, these two colors and this. I mean, I'm just like matchy crazy. So apparently I need to finish this shawl and then wear it with this shirt with these earrings. I'm just saying. So yeah, that is a work in progress. And then another thing that is a work in progress, dun, 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 I started a Sock KAL the last time I podcasted, and I started a sock. I started a sock design because I didn't know, I knew I wanted to make a sock with this speckled yarn, and I was like, I'm not going to follow a pattern. I'm just going to make it. But this is like the size, this is like a child size sock. So I'm still working out what this is a swatch basically, because I needed to start over. So this was all day yesterday, and I actually had gotten through this yarn right here. I think I bought it from Stephen and Penelope in Amsterdam. So this is a colorway, this yellow. Yeah, see, I'm obsessed with this yellow. Absolutely into it. So it's called, this is from Undercover Otter, and it's a yarn and fibers from Amsterdam. And this is a Singularity, not the bees. Singularity, not the bees. I don't know if the whole name is that or Singularity means it's a single ply. I don't know. But it's superwash merino, 400 yards. Yeah, got that from Stephen and Penelope. Excited to use that. I was thinking that I would use this. The reason I bought it, I was going to put it in my Penguono, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to have yarn from Stephen and Penelope in Amsterdam to put in my, I think I'm going to use this color as one of the welts. So for the welts, I think I want to use La Bien-Aimée, this bright yellow, this bright pink, and then this black and white. Wouldn't that be cool? And those would be the 3 welts. So that is going to be cool. And I have to say, once again, needles and the damage done. This was my first Penguono back panel, but I was feeling like this back panel was a little small, A. B, I didn't love how this yarn was striping. And now I decided I'm going to rip this back. I took the welts out because I had those on there, if you recall. And I think what I'm going to do, I think if I use this yarn again, this purple, I'm going to hold it 2 strands of the fingering weight with the suri, and hopefully the striping won't happen as much. If I'm holding 2 strands, like one from the inside, one from the outside of the skein, I'm thinking that will help it not stripe like that. So this is a real variegated yarn, which I'm not a big fan of variegated. I'm realizing I'm a bigger fan of just light speckling. This yarn is from a homespun house, this the pink and the white. So I got through a white stripe, a pink stripe, and I was then starting on this purple stripe. And this yarn is also from a homespun house. It's called Pajama Party, which is such a cute name. But you can see it's like all over purple and it's got some speckling. But it's not so variegated that it would come out stripy. So anyway, yeah, so for my sock, getting back to the sock, hello, I'm a little ADD today, sorry. I use the Stephen and Penelope yellow, that otter, well, it's not Stephen and Penelope, Undercover Otter, in that Not the Bees. Then I went to the white speckle, and that yarn is a homespun house. This is the indie colorway from a homespun house. It's a little blown out here. So yeah, that's the indie colorway. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. So, and I think Molly made her no frills, that red sweater I'm making. She made hers in indie, and then her white mohair, which is called Fresh Sheets, I think is the colorway of the mohair. Her no frills is so cute. Anyway, then I'm using, for the pink speckled yarn, I'm using this one. This is also from a homespun house. And this one is called Dancing in the Street. So yeah, Dancing in the Street after the white. And this is just a pattern, I'm just making it up as I go. But I knew I wanted to do stripes, and I knew I wanted to put this yellow on here. So I think I may have told you that last time. So then Pajama Party will come next. And then it's just going to alternate those 3, indie, Dancing in the Streets, and Pajama Party. So yeah, I was super excited that I had gotten I wanted to show you guys some progress on my sock for the Sock KAL, and I was really excited about it, but then my gauge was totally off. I got this far and I decided I usually use, for making socks, I usually use high sharps, like Molly from a homespun house. But I decided to put it on, you know, like move it off the needles. Here's a magic loop. And this is a Chiagu size US 0. I made these on a US 0. And I know most people make it on a US 1 socks. I mean, not most people. I mean, people probably have different needles that they use. But for me, I used a US 1 on the crunkled socks, and they were way too stretchy and big. And I'm using the same yarn. I'm using a homespun house yarn. And so I know those crunkled socks were too big. And so I went down to a US 0, and then I think I cast on 60 stitches. It was too small. I couldn't get it over my heel. So anyway, now I'm back and I'm using magic loop again. And I put still on a US 0, and I cast on 64 stitches this time. So we'll see if that's enough. 4 stitches? I don't know. I think I cast on though 64 stitches for the crunkled sock, and it was too big. So now, and that was on a US 1 though. Now I'm on a US 0 with 64, thinking maybe if I go down a needle size, the 64 stitches will work. So anyway, this is the progress, not very much. On this is just from today. This was yesterday. I spent all day knitting, and it wound up being a swatch. I'll probably pull it back to save the yarn, because why not? It's gorgeous yarn. But for now, there it is. Now, the Sock KAL. The Sock KAL is running from May 5th to July 5th, and you have a chance to win Volume 2 of 52 Weeks of Socks from Lina Publishing. And this is a lovely book. I bought 52 Weeks of Socks, the first edition, earlier this winter, and then 52 Weeks of Socks, the second edition, just came out, and I had pre-ordered it, and I forgot I pre-ordered it, and then I pre-ordered again. So I had wound up with 2, and that's why I'm doing the Sock KAL, because I'm going to send one of you that second copy. So yeah, super excited. I started a Ravelry group for Be Do Knit. It's called Be Do Knit Designs and Podcast. And then I put in there the Sock KAL. I have a thread that's like Sock KAL whips and discussion, so that we can like share our progress and get excited. And then there's another thread that's for FOs only. So Sock KAL FOs. So yeah, jump in that group, follow the, join and follow the group on Ravelry. Yeah, on Ravelry. It's called the Be Do Knit Design and Podcast group. Join it and then put your whips in that thread. I'm so excited to see your whips. So you've seen mine. Fail and TBD. Might be another failure, but I'm open for it, as you all know. So, yeah, I'll figure it out at some point, but it is going to be really fun. These colors are bringing me life. Like I cannot even with these colors. I'm so into it. So yeah, that's going to be so cool. And then the pajama party coming after that pink. White, pink, purple, speckled. And then I think I'm going to do a heel, flap, and gusset in this yellow, I think. Or maybe pajama party. I don't know. And then the toe, definitely in this color. So that'll be fun. So that's coming. And then what else have I been working on? Well, I made a tiny, I'm not even going to take it out. It's not enough progress to even show you, but I did a few rows of my no frills. But what has really been giving me life is the Penguono. There's just something about picking all the colors, and like I said, I wasn't enjoying the stripy kind of look, and so this one, see ya. And then I cast on, and then I changed my needle size also. I changed my needle, and you can tell it's wider, I think. Yeah, it's a little wider. I went up from, I don't even know what I was using before, but instead of one strand of fingering with another strand of fingering, the suri, now I'm holding 2 strands of fingering with the suri. Oh my God, Siri, scare the crap out of me. Yeah, listening, Oh my God, that just, literally I have goosebumps. Like, who's listening? That's creepy. I know I've seen other people podcasting when that happens, but that just creeped me out. Like, who is literally listening in on my conversation with you? But anyway, yeah, so I went to more of a lavender color, and it's still that same company that makes those other, it was something like Fuzz Family, for Creo Fuzz Family yarns that I won this yarn at an eBay auction from Christy Glass. She was doing a de-stash of some of her yarn, and I bought it. And I thought it'd be fun to put that yarn in my Penguono. Oh my gosh, you guys. Seriously, with the yellow and the lavender. Here's my double pointed needles case. Oh my gosh. And this is from Delaque. This is such a cute needle case. So yeah, this, I think I showed it during Vlogmas, but yeah, that's lavender and yellow. And I think I have a project bag. Yes, I do. Here's a project bag from, who is this one from? Bagu. Lavender and yellow. I'm obsessed right now. It's everywhere I look. But anyway, lavender. And then on top of that, I added my girlfriend for my birthday, Jessica. She gave me, she went to Stephen B in Minneapolis, and she purchased 2 balls of this Mohair So Soft from Loopy Mango. And I'm pretty sure it's a chunky weight, or I don't know, maybe worsted or chunky, I don't know. It's really pretty thick strand of mohair. Very soft. Oh my gosh. But I just kept the same size needle, and I just threw that in there, little stripe. And then I'm starting back on kind of a pink, I think it's actually this, but instead of one strand of this yarn, the Fuzz Family Creo, I am pulling 2 strands of that, of the fingering weight with, and I think, I didn't make much progress, but I think it's not gonna be quite so stripy. So I'm pretty happy about that. And then I was thinking about, I was looking at a bunch of Penguono podcasts, and I noticed that, who was it? Amy from Knit Collage. She did this like really funky, I even wondered about doing like loops, like yarn, you know, those big loops, like putting those in there, just kind of making it wild. But for right now, I've got the lavender, this stripe of mohair, and then I'm going back to the fingering weight. I think I just did this mohair on its own because I think it's chunky weight. So anyway, loving this. Like, there's something about, I've got this basket full of yarn and lots of different colors in here, and I'm just loving it. I got this basket up in Grand Marais at the food co-op. I just love these baskets. This one is like a tote, like a big tote. And some of these yarns, I've got a little basket when I have like, I don't know, I've got some little balls of leftovers, And I'll probably pop those in the Penguono. And then, yeah, I'll talk about this one in a bit. But I love these baskets. Even so, this basket, well, I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I just got all this big basket full of yarn. This is leftover from my Kumo sweater, the Julia Wilkins. And this is Surrey and Felix. La Vienna May, Felix, and then Surrey. So yeah, I've got tons and tons of yarn in here. I'll talk a little bit about these and acquisitions. But yeah, it's just fun to kind of like look in there and look at all the yarn and like pick your next color, because the Penguono is just like a big playground of playing with color. You know, you just get to make color decisions constantly, and you can do stripes. You can make it color blocking. You can, you know, you can do all kinds of things. So yeah, it's just kind of like this playful jacket. And I'll pop in here a picture of the finished object for some of you if you don't remember what the Penguono looks like. But it's a pattern by Stephen West, and it is just so fun to knit. Now, when I first started, I was kind of chilly, so I just had this yellow thing on, but I think I will put on my this cardigan is the Colorado Cooler cardigan, and I think it's a pattern by We Are Knitters. I'm pretty sure it's We Are Knitters, in the cotton. And as you can see, the sleeves are pretty long, and the sleeves are pretty narrow too. Like I usually like a little depth, but this is pretty snug. But I finished this a few years ago, 2018 or 19, and yeah, I like it. I think I started it in a hotel in Sunnyvale, California, because I was on a work trip. My old boss used to live in Sunnyvale. And I think this cardigan was the first time, and maybe only time, I ever did this double, what is this called? A cuff? But anyway, like that folded over button band, or there's no buttons, but the band around the neck. So yeah, I like that double folded thing. I forgot about that on there. But anyway, I'm getting off track. So whips. I had the Sock WIP, and I told you, so, you know, go join that Ravelry group, and I will announce a winner in July. And I still got to figure out how I'm going to pick a winner, because if you want to, if you're not on Ravelry, but you use Instagram, you could use the hashtag BDK Sock KAL on Instagram. And then in Ravelry, you can post in the whips and the finished object thread. So you have to finish the socks. And I know it's really hard to get through that second sock, but in order to be eligible to win the book, you have to finish a pair of socks by July 5th. So if you want to join, use the hashtag on Instagram, or maybe I'll get another book and have like a Ravelry winner and an Instagram winner. So anyway, there is that. So now I think I'll get into summer tees. So as you all know, summer is coming up, and I don't know about you, but I do think I'll still work on my Penguono, but I think I will also start working on a summer tee. And I have yarn already in this beautiful blue color. This is for the Sea Breeze sweater vest. And I put this in the tee category because to me a vest is kind of like a tee. And you know, I had so much fun working on this and its lace work that this Sea Breeze sweater vest really makes me kind of excited because it's also lace work. So, and it looks like pretty simple lace work. It's just like an all over lace pattern. So I think that would be fun. And I got the same exact yarn and color. So it's this Kelborn Woolens Mojave, 60% cotton and 40% linen. And it's a 50-gram ball. I purchased 4 balls for the size that I'm gonna make, which I don't even know what size that is anymore. But the needle size for this pattern, you need a US 5 or 3.75 millimeter needle, and then a US 3. I would imagine for the neck and the cuff and hem. So the US 3, that's a 3.25 millimeter. But yeah, I'm not sure what this blue color is, but it's not saying it on my label. But it's this kind of electric blue, and it's the same one that she used. So perhaps you will see it if you go on Ravelry and look up this pattern for the Sea Breeze sweater vest. So yeah, I have yarn for that one, so I'm likely going to cast that on, especially because it's in lace work, and or it's like mesh. I don't know if she calls it lace, but yeah, it's mesh. So anyway, and it's top down, which love top down. So yeah, that's the first one that I am super into. And then the second one is a crochet project, actually. And it's this Limonata sweater. I don't know, it's not a sweater. It's not a tee either. It has sleeves, but it's, you know, it's a summer shirt because it is lace work, or it's crochet, so it's not lace work. But yeah, it's very holey. There's a lot of air that can move through. So yeah, that would be a really good. The yarn that was used, again, Kelborn Woolens Mojave. So this is it's sport weight. Sport weight I heard is having a moment. So yeah, no exception here. Sport weight, 60% Pima cotton and 40% linen. So actually I could make this using this yarn if I wanted to crochet instead of knit. That's interesting to think about. I didn't even realize that was the same yarn. But yeah, this was on a Pom Pom magazine from last summer, I believe. And it's crochet. That's really fine crochet. I wonder what size hook. 3.25 millimeter hook, or a USD. So I haven't done that intricate of crochet work, but it reminds me of the wheels that are in my Primrose Throw for by Arnie and Carlos, that pattern. So I think I could do that pretty easily. It just looks like a bunch of those wheels on there. So that could be something. So yeah, that's a contender. While I'm in this book, another one, and this is also, I believe, crochet, is Pasteque, I think is how you say it, but I'm not totally 100%. And this one is by Madalena Bastaco. Anyway, it's this tee. And let me see if I can get a better photo. Here we go. So that is pretty cute. That is Pasteque. And yeah, this is also in that same issue of Pom Pom. And I love it. It's just a very square shirt. This is the schematic. But it's got that V-neck and a little bit of detail on the cuff, at the sleeve cuff. So yeah, those two are contenders. And let's see. This one, the suggested yarn is Ritual Dyes Undine, fingering weight, and using a hook size 2.5 millimeter. I don't know what the US hook size is for 2.5. Maybe it was the same as the Limonata. Nope. This one's even smaller. That hook size, 2.5 millimeter. I feel like, if it was a knitting needle, it'd be a US 0? Is that right? I don't know. But anyway, that's the other one. Again, it's like this bright summer color. I love this yellow and I love that bright orange. I just think those are very, very pretty for summer. So, and then I don't know when the last time I talked about this was, but I had a failed attempt at making the outline tank last summer. I got the whole tank done. And then I was going through to like drop all those stitches up the front. And I messed up the setup round at the bottom of the tank. So I started ripping, you know, pulling out those stitches, dropping those stitches, and I got to the bottom and it just went right through. Oh my gosh. Needles and the damage done. Yeah, so I have the outline tee. I was gonna forego the tank and maybe do the tee instead. I have this sport weight, I think it is. Is it sport weight? I purchased some yarn up at Dappled Fern Fibers in Grand Marais when I was there, and I was going to use that. And so I have the yarn. I have the yarn. But do I want to venture back into something that I might screw up? And you can't know until the very end. Ugh, I'd have to be so meticulous and focus. You know, I could do it. It's just yarn, you know, and needles and time. So I guess, I don't know. The way I think about it is I'm these days, more of a process knitter than a product knitter. Meaning I like the process of knitting and I'm going to be knitting anyway. I mean, every day I'm going to be knitting at least 2 hours, I'm sure. And so, you know, I'm knitting anyway. And it's not, I have so many knitted objects I don't really need anymore, but it's just fun now. So, I don't know. It's just time and yarn and needles. It's okay. So yeah, this one is also knit up. This is a Jessie Made design, the outline tee. And the suggested yarn for this one, again, is Ritual Dyes Undine, which is fingering weight. And, ooh, there's 2 ideas of things in my stash I could use. La Bien-Aimée Merino sock or Hedgehog fiber sock yarn. So, maybe I could do that. So yeah, this uses a US 4 or 3.5 millimeter and a US 5 3.75 millimeter needle. So that's the outline tee. And that one scares me a little because of what happened before, but and then, you know, because I loved this color so much, and I think I told you I ordered extra yarn of this from Knitting for Olive, the cotton merino, and I have a bunch of skeins left over. So the other tee that I'm really interested in making is the Mara tee. And this Mara tee, it looks like the same exact yarn that I used, but it's not. Suggested yarn is Concept by Katya Cotton Yak yarn. But look at it, even has like little bobbles on it, which bobbles, I don't know, there's some cabling, it's like lace cabling. This is a very frilly shirt for me. I don't know about those sleeves, how they're kind of ruffling and sticking out. But maybe I could do something, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't have to do that part. It looks like maybe I could just end, because it kind of goes down the shoulder, and then that ruffly bit is just past it. So if I didn't like it, I could just rip that section out, maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah, isn't it beautiful? I think that is just so elegant and beautiful. And I feel like that cotton merino would work for this as well. This is yak. I feel like yak maybe is a little drapier. So yeah, TBD on that, but it looks very similar, this colorway, to me. So who knows, but that is a contender for that cotton merino yarn. And then let's see, the next one is the Cumulus Tee, and that's by Petite Knit. So a lot of people have made the Cumulus Tee. Now, when I showed it to my husband, he's like, boring. Like, he's like, that just seems like a sweater you can just buy at the store. It doesn't seem hand knit. And you know, there's a lot of petite knit patterns. Even the no frills is pretty basic. It's just like a basic raglan. So unless you're using interesting yarn, like that yarn that I'm using is Cardiff Cashmere. So it's cashmere. Cashmere, Jerry, cashmere. I feel like that's from Seinfeld. But anyway, it is a great yarn. So it kind of keeps my interest because it's so amazing, like the yarn. Or if you were doing speckled yarn and holding it with mohair, that would be interesting. But like the Cumulus Tee, I know it takes a long time. I've heard Inga from Knitting Traditions, when she was making it, it just took her forever. And other people, I think Inga's made like 2 or 3 now though. So she obviously loves it. I do love this, you know, it's like this sleeve where it goes down, you know, it's not like a T up here. It's like this elbow length, and I really like that length. So there is something about this, and I think that this one is made with Knitting for Olive pure silk. So there's something about that. It must feel really good on, because people make it and they make it twice or 3 times. So this is still a contender. One idea in my stash. Oh, hedgehog fibers, sock yarn. So apparently I could use the sock yarn on this. That's fascinating. Needle size, yeah, the gauge is 28 stitches and 40 rows. Small needles, US 2.5 and a US 1.5, 3 millimeter and a 2.5 millimeter needle. So it's gonna take a minute to make this thing, but it's a contender. I would not make it in black. I've seen people make it in black, and that just hurts my eyes thinking about it. But yeah, so the Cumulus Tee. Let's see, next up is the Alpine Bloom. So this is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter, and you know, it's a Caitlin Hunter, so it's got the spin cycle yarn, and it's spin cycle dyed in the wool, and then Moondrake Company Pika Pika. And so that's the suggested yarn. 2 ideas in my stash, again with the hedgehog fibers and the La Bien-Aimée sock yarn. So I could use one of those. And I do have some spin cycle, so I could do this one. The only thing about this one is that everybody's making it. I don't know, maybe not everybody. There's 1,306 projects on Ravelry, which I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people have made it, and I don't know if I want to, I don't know. But it is beautiful, and I've seen some amazing renditions of it. It does have a little bit of a frilly neck, and I'm not a big frilly person, so not sure. But it would be fun to work on something in the summer that's color work. So yeah, that could be. It's probably more of a spring fall tee, this color work tee, because it's not made with a plant fiber. Doesn't seem like. I don't know. Anyway, the next one is the Luminos Tee, and that is by Yamagara. This just looks so cool to me. It looks like, you know, somebody has a tonal yarn held with like a speckled yarn, and what a cool way to use it with this V-neck and then this like exposed seam. It looks like maybe it's knit on the sides, and then there's like this exposed seam, or maybe that's a bind off or something. It looks pretty cool, and it's sort of knit in a V shape. That looks pretty interesting construction wise. And let's see, it's stripes, color work, reversible, worked flat, so there'd be some seaming bottom up, but it just looks pretty cool, doesn't it? I just think this is a really cool one. Anyway, the yarn is light fingering, and hedgehog fibers, oh so fine. So I have hedgehog fibers in my stash. I could use, you know, I could use that. Luminos Tee. And then this one I love this tee. I actually bought this, the yarn for this, and it's coming. It's in the mail, I'm sure. It's like on its way. So excited. So this one, the Everyday Attitude, suggested yarn is Vaxpo Lean Garn. So this yarn, actually, I was almost gonna order it from Europe. And I was like, I bet I could find a different yarn. So I did. I did wind up finding a different yarn. And I think I ordered it from Woolen Company. So I don't remember what the yarn was, but I found something kind of similar. And so the needle size for this is US 2.5, so a 3mm needle. I think it's going to take a while, and it's 20 stitches and 40 rows. 20 stitches isn't that bad for 4 inches in garter stitch. So anyway, this one, I just love the boxiness of it. I love that it's this black and white stripe. It's very classic. There's just something about this. I love the black around the detail, the outline of it. I just think this is a classic. I feel like I would love this tee. So I'm excited to make this, and I actually was IMing with Fiber MacGyver, Susie from Fiber MacGyver, and she saw, I posted this in I started this hashtag in my stories on Instagram called the hashtag Knitspiration. So it's knit inspiration combined, Knitspiration. And anyway, I post every once, whenever I see something that I'm super inspired by, I will post it and do a hashtag Knitspiration. And this was a Knitspiration. Susie saw it and she bought the pattern. So we were messaging about what colors we were going to use. And I felt so boring saying I'm going to do the black and white, but it's classic. I just feel like it'll go with everything. So, and what I'm excited about, I bought these lavender kind of, not bell bottoms, but like straight leg sailor type jean pants last summer. And I think I have been looking for the right top to wear with those pants. And I think this is it. I think this would be amazing. So anyway, this is happening. I'm definitely making this. I don't know, maybe it'll take all summer and I won't get to any of these other ones, but I don't know, that Mara Tee is kind of calling my name too, because I can use the yarn, the leftover yarn from this, which I loved that yarn. So we'll see. So anyway, 3 more tops to get through. The next one is the Rocket Tee by Tanis. Well, she's from Tanis Fiber Arts, which you might know on Instagram, but Tanis Lavelli. This is a great striped tee. It's just a classic, awesome striped tee. I don't know if she used speckled yarn for both. Yeah, it looks like she did. But great, great design, great tee. I love the speckled. It's kind of like these socks, you know, like I could do this tee. Oh my gosh, did I have a skein of yarn sitting in my coffee? Oh my gosh. You guys, tragedy strikes. I forgot I even had coffee. Look at this coffee cup my friend got me for my birthday. It says, you can and you will because you're badass like that. Thank you, Henny, for my coffee cup. Oh my gosh. I saw a skein of yarn, like, I thought it was in there, but I don't think it was. Anyway, panic attack. All right, so moving on. That's the Rocket Tee. It uses fingering weight yarn and a US 5 3.75mm needle. And it is worked flat, so some seaming is involved. Oh, it says seamless though. Worked flat and seamless. How does that work? In the round. Oh, interesting. Okay. So you must like, is it bottom up? Top down. Fascinating. Who knows? Construction? Unknown. Okay. Second to last is the Penelope Tee. So yeah, I'm very interested in this one too. So this suggested yarn for this one is the Wandering Flock Fingering Singles. An idea in my stash is the La Bien-Aimée Merino Super Sock. So needle size US 4 and US 2. US 2 on the cuff and collar. I need to stop talking apparently and wrap this up. Yeah, and the hem. So yeah, couple of sizes there. And then let's see what else about this one. Is it top down? Stripes and color work, slip stitches, in the round provisional cast on. Yeah, short row shaping, negative ease, mosaic, bottom up. Yeah, lots going on there, but I feel like that is just so cute. That is in my future, if not this summer or fall, I don't know, sometime soon. And the last one is the Shelley Summer top. So the Shelley Summer top, it is by Nancy Ritchie. Oh, I don't think I said who designed this. Penelope Tee. Julie Robinson. Now, the Shelley Summer top is designed by Nancy Ritchie. I think that's how you say the last name. Anyway, it is a DK weight yarn, any cotton or wool DK weight yarn, and you use a US 8 or 5mm needle. It is stripes color work if you want, but some people just do a solid color, and worked flat, seamed, positive ease. And I know a gal who made this is Two Rivers Knitting on Instagram. I follow her and she follows me. She's kind of in the Grand Marais area. She made two, actually. She must really like it. She made one in kind of like a tan white color, and then she also made one in this mustard color. And I was thinking maybe this is a pattern I could use my Knitting for Olive, because it's a DK weight and I could hold two strands together to get that. That could work. So that's another contender. If I don't want to do the one with the frilly sleeves and all the cable work and all that, I could do this one. Looks a little easier. And it's got lace work, which, you know, I'm into right now. So those two are contenders for that yarn. And then I think I also saw the gal from Chelsea Yarns. Who is that? What is her name? I think it's like Christina Lundberg from Chelsea Yarns. I believe she made that as well. And if I can find the picture, I'll pop it in here. Hers is gorgeous. The reason I found this tee, or this vest, or whatever you call it, I don't even know what she's calling it. Is it a tee? Summer top. Was from hers. I loved the colors, and she probably used her own yarn, so she's got Chelsea Yarns. So anyway, those are my top 12 summer tees to make this summer. If I'm lucky, I'm going to make one, let's face it, but those are all on the list of potentials. So that is the summer tee. Then you guys, this is going to be a long episode, okay? I went to Shepherd's Harvest Sheep and Wool Festival last weekend, and I had a blast. I never thought I would be someone who spins wool, but I bought a spindle. The first place I stopped when I got there was this booth that had some bats of wool and, and spindles and some spinning wheels. But it was called Dakota Carding and Wool Company, and Kelly Nispel is the owner, and she's from Groton, South Dakota. So that makes sense that it's called Dakota Carding and Wool Company. And then the gal who was helping me, I might pop in a little video of her teaching me how to use a spindle. So I asked her to do it, and then I was like, can I videotape this for later? And then I was like, do you mind if it's on YouTube? So yeah, you might see that coming up here, but her name is Erica Madeline.
We're gonna wrap just normal yarn around here, under, right along the thing. Yeah. And then you're gonna pull it long enough up here, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna tie your fiber to that. Okay. So make a little loop on the end of it. That's called your
like a slip knot
leader.
Or something?
Yep, that's called your leader. Okay, and that's gonna stay on here all the time. You always want your leader on here.
Okay.
And then you're always gonna go one direction. Pick a direction you feel comfortable spinning. I always go clockwise.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
unless you are applying two together, right?
Unless you're applying two together.
Okay.
Yep. Or you're taking spin out.
Okay.
Which you can do. Then you just spin clockwise, and you hold back your spin with one hand, and you pull. It's called drawing.
Okay.
With the other hand, and you draw, and then that lets the spin up.
I love it.
Spin, and draw, and pull. I haven't done this since last year.
I wonder if anyone ever makes enough on a spindle like that to make a sweater.
I did.
Did you?
Well, it was a.
That's intense.
It was a short sleeve like little top thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A tee.
Yep.
That's enough, right?
It was kind of
like,
a t-shirt, and it was very croppy, actually, now that I think about it. It was a very croppy thing. And
so it gets long, and then you...
Yeah.
Okay. I keep changing
and then
them.
when you get, you know, kind of down to where you feel, you know, like it's long enough, you can wind it.
That's so cool.
And then, yeah, so one of the fun things you can kind of do with cloud is like, all right, this has been white for a really long time.
Yeah.
I'm going to grab some of this darker color and spin that in there. You know, I can grab this.
Oh.
Kind of just bring it here and twist that in.
Oh my gosh, crazy.
You know?
And just stick it together.
Yeah, you can just kind of see, and it'll make this kind of like candy cane
so
look.
Cool.
Yeah, so you can kind of have some fun with it.
I love it.
Yep. And then when you're done, you take it, you unhook it from there, and wind it on. Yep. And let me tell you, it just takes practice.
Okay.
Drop spindling, you're gonna get frustrated. It's gonna break. It's gonna blop. You know. Whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
You just kind of keep.
Just keep at it.
You just keep at it, and I always just pinch to hold the spin back.
Yep.
And then. Yep.
Pinch to hold it back.
Pinch,
okay.
Yeah, keep your
up at the
here.
top.
Yep. And then I kind of will slide my other hand down to hold it.
Okay.
Yep, this is a great way to get started.
Yeah, I mean, just...
And it's so portable, you can go...
She had one of these going, and, you know, I don't know. I gotta watch the video again, but she, like, wrapped it around and then put this through, and then the yarn, like, kind of goes into this, like, indentation here. And then somehow it's wrapping around this once you get going. Now, I come from a line of spinners. I have my great grandma Ida Olson's spinning wheel. I mean, I thought for sure, and I will probably inherit her loom, which then I need to go to, like, what is that place called on University, to learn how to spin or learn how to use a loom. The Minnesota Textile Company? No, Minnesota Textile Center. I will need to go there and take some classes if I get that loom, because I would love to get this bed. I never have guests. I'm in like a guest room in my house, and this bed needs to go because I need to set up the loom in here, and this needs to be my yarn room. And I can envision like these big chests of like, or these big closets that are moth proof that I can just like set all my yarn and my finished objects in and be able to look at it instead of having it in these big plastic bins, which is just unsightly. So yeah, how do you guys store your yarn and your finished objects? I mean, I had that one moth scare that one time, so now everything is in a bin or it's in Ziploc bags, or I don't know. Anyway, it's not the prettiest to look at, but gotta do what you gotta do. So anyway, here are the bats of yarn I got. And the colorway for this is Earth Day, which is kind of perfect because we just had Earth Day, which is right by my birthday. And ingredients: Border Leicester, BFL, TEES water, and Firestar. I don't know if I'm even reading that handwriting right, but weight is 4 ounces, and it was $25 for this bag of wool. And look at this, you guys. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? This is gorgeous. It looks like the earth spinning around. But these colors, are you kidding me? gorgeous. So yeah, I'm going to learn how to spin using this. And I heard somewhere that BFL is a good sheep's wool for beginners. And I think maybe the gal directed me to it too. So something about BFL being good. So I'm gonna give it a whirl, like literally a whirl. I'm gonna try this and we will see what happens. Maybe that's a different episode, but that was the first place I stopped. Super excited about that. And then the second place I stopped was my mother-in-law, funny enough, was just telling me that there was an event coming up in May at this. She's like, have you ever been to this farm in southern Minnesota, in this town called Denison, Minnesota, which is just, my mother-in-law lives in Faribault, Minnesota, and Denison is just like a little bit east, kind of on your way back to the city. So this place is called Harvest Hill Acres, and it's, what is the name of this? Harvest Hill Acres. I gotta look it up because they have a very unique yarn and I can't remember what it is about it. And their farm, like they have knit night and they have like events and you can go and meet the sheep and it's a really sweet. The yarn is called, or the sheep are CVM Romeldale. So Harvest Hill Acres, located in South Central Minnesota, is home to a purebred flock of CVM Romeldale sheep. This breed of sheep is one of the rarest breeds of sheep in the United States. The Romeldale breed was developed in California during the early 1900s as a cross between New Zealand's Marsh Romney and Rambouillet. So Romney and Rambouillet. So it's called Romeldale. Romeldale sheep. So anyway, yeah, and this is the Wild Barn yarn, and I purchased, this particular yarn has, I think she said it's got their Romeldale along with mohair and angora. So it's the Romeldale and mohair and angora. And mohair, where does mohair come from? Goats? I don't know. Anyway, this is the yarn. So you guys, I purchased I think I got 7 skeins. So a sweater's quantity and this skein. And what's so cool about this, I can go, did I write it down? Please, God. Tell me I wrote this down. It's written down somewhere, but I can go meet the sheep that produced this. I'm so excited. I can't remember if her name was Fiona or something. Anyway, I wrote the name down at some point, but you can see there's like fuzz on the top of this. So yeah, mohair. Can you see that fuzz? There's mohair and angora. And I told you guys, I get warm. So this is going to be, maybe it's going to be hot in here with this. So I better be careful. But this is going to be pretty cool. So it's a sport 3-ply, 250 yards. $34 for the skein. So anyway, I bought that yarn and I think, I don't know, I was maybe going to hold it with mohair, but if it already has mohair and angora in it, that sounds like a heat wave. So I was going to make the Ingrid sweater from Petite Knit, but now that I'm thinking about it, I also recently watched an episode from Sari Nordlund. She just put out a new cardigan. And I think right now, Casey from Young Folk Knits is making this cardigan. And it is called the Book Club Cardigan. So possibly I could use this yarn to make the Book Club Cardigan. Yep, yarn held together, lace and sport to make a worsted. So sounds like I'm going to be getting some mohair to hold with that because that's sport weight That'd be perfect. Lace and sport. I think I'm making the book club cardigan. Oh my gosh. Inga, like that scares me because the neck goes up high and it's just enclosed. Like I think I'm gonna need a cardigan so I can like take it on, take it off. That just sounds really hot. Angora mohair, double mohair Angora and this Romeldale. It sounds like a heat wave. I can't do it. So I'm gonna make the book club cardigan, I believe, with that yarn. So that'll be pretty fun. Then the next place I stopped at the Shepherd's Harvest Sheep and Wool Festival was Fiber MacGyver's booth. And I picked up this gorgeous navy blue yarn. It's in Midnight. The color is called Midnight. Merino sock, 80% merino, 20% nylon, fingering sock. And then I ordered from her some navy in the same colorway, Surrey, to hold with this to make Matt's cardigan. So that's gonna be pretty amazing. And that is unless I can find, if anybody knows of a men's cardigan that's like plain stockinette with a shawl collar, maybe buttons, maybe not buttons. Maybe I'll put buttons on. I can see maybe some like, especially with navy, maybe having tortoiseshell buttons or something. That'd be pretty cool. I might have to wind up designing this and just measuring him and designing it as I go because I can't find a pattern. And I want a shawl collar and plain stockinette, men's cardigan. I don't know. Might have to design it as I go. But, so that is, I had so much fun with Susie. Susie's sister was there and her friend. And I just had a blast looking at all the yarn and finding this navy yarn for Matt's sweater. And Susie is just such a lovely person. She lives, you know, maybe like 20-30 minutes away from me in St. Paul. And I don't know. I just felt like if we lived in the same town, we would be BFs. Like we'd hang out. So who knows? Maybe we'll start hanging out. But she is just a lovely person. And today on her Instagram, I noticed she has such a Minnesota post. She was like out in a boat on a lake. It looked a little like Square Lake. I wonder where she is, but it looked like Square Lake. But anyway, she's on this boat and she had her knitting and she had a shawl with, or maybe it was a paddleboard. I don't even know. But anyway, yeah, she was having a very Minnesota day out on a lake with her knitting. She had like knitting and a shawl just in case it gets cold. Oh my gosh, so fun. So anyway, she's out there on the lake today enjoying Minnesota weather. It is gorgeous out. So super fun to be at Fiber MacGyver, and there was like this knit up Stephen West shawl, and she told me some good news about Rhinebeck, but maybe she'll be sharing that soon. Maybe she already did. I don't know. But she was asking me if I'm going to Rhinebeck, and I do want to go, but I have to book a place. I think I'm going to be going by myself, and that is just totally fine because I need to mask and take precautions and everything, so it's kind of perfect, but I do need to get on it if I'm going to find a place to stay. So anyway, I don't know if there's going to be a Woolen Folk, but Cake Palooza, indie, like there's some indie yarn dyeing festival, Rhinebeck. It sounds like a blast. So yeah, hopefully I can go and I can see Susie and hang out with her. We had so much fun. So anyway, that was a great visit to Fiber MacGyver. While I was there, I also picked up one of my favorite colors in the entire world is, or one of my favorite flowers is lupine or lupin. And this is called lupine. It's this purple merino superwash DK. I picked up that. And then I also picked up this light speckled yarn called Confetti. I almost named my Easy Ease cardigan the Confetti cardigan. So I saw this and I was like, oh, it's kind of like that same kind of look. Merino sock, 80% merino, 20% nylon, fingering weight, 437 yards. Gorgeous. This is a one of a kind colorway that I wanted to pop into my Penguono. So gorgeous. Oh my gosh, that orange. Hello. Yeah, this is Merino Twist, and it's just a one-of-a-kind colorway. 80% merino, 20% nylon. And then from the Sheep and Wool Festival, I ran over quick to Stillwater to darn knit anyway, because I needed to make a return. My mom got me a Lumos light for my birthday, which was a great gift idea for a knitter, but I already had one. So I returned that and I got some yarn. And I got La Bien-Aimée. This is hand dyed in Paris. It is called Peanut Butter and Jelly, maybe? It's a merino sock, super sock yarn. 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, peanut butter and jelly is the colorway. So I got this. And I also picked up this cute little notepad. It's actually not a notepad. It's got all these sticky notes, and I put my show notes in here for today so I'd remember what to talk about. Yeah, so I got that, and then I picked up more of the peach sweater, but in like a sock weight to potentially put in my Penguono. And I picked up this one. The Flora Morganite of a sock yarn. I love this color. I cannot get enough of this, especially with the peach sweater. It's the Kumo sweater all over again. It's just in a different weight, different type of yarn. But this is merino super sock as well. So yeah, got those. Oh, and also when I was at the Sheep and Wool Festival, I picked up a basket. I got this little basket. And it's just nice. It's like a low basket that can hold a few skeins of yarn over when I'm on the couch. Especially like little leftover bits, or you know, enough for like a heel and a toe on a sock or something. So yeah, picked up that. And then is that it pretty much? One other acquisition. Well, no, this is more of like a favorite thing. So I'm gonna wrap up here soon. But oh, one more thing. One more acquisition. I ordered from a homespun house. I just wanted to try a mini skein set of theirs, and every month they have a new mini skein set, and I got this one. So yeah, all these colors, so pretty. So like, you know, if you're making socks, or a lot of people are making the jelly roll blanket, this could be a good start to a jelly roll blanket. If you don't know the jelly roll blanket, I'll pop in a photo of what it looks like. I think it's either Kay Jones from the Bakery Bears, or it's Kay, the crazy sock lady, I think. Who designed this? I think it might be Kay Jones from the Bakery Bears, who also designed the crunkled sock. So anyway, yeah, this is a homespun house May mini skein set, or May mini skein club socks. So it's 650 yards in total. But yeah, that's the mini skein set. So I got that, and then just to wrap up today's video, today's Knitspiration. So I do Knitspiration on my Instagram handle, and sometimes it's yarn, and sometimes it could be something else, or like a design that I love. But today I'm going to share my Knitspiration is actually a bag, something to hold a project in or yarn in. And I got this because it's spring. I thought this was apropos. This is Julia Wilkins, who designed the Kumo sweater that I made with the La Bien-Aimée yarn. She has a company called It Amsterdam, and that she owns with somebody else. There's like two of them that own it. I don't know the other gal, but they have the cutest project bags. This I purchased from Stephen and Penelope when I purchased, I think, this yellow yarn last year. And I mean, how cute is this bag? It's just this little guy, but I love these tulips. I mean, just reminds me of like when I lived in Germany when I was a kid, and my parents took my siblings and I to Holland. I think maybe my sister Marianne and I went to Holland, and we went to this tulip, I don't know, we went and saw these tulips and these windmills, and I don't know, it reminded me of living in Europe and going to that little tulip farm, I guess. It was just like this fields and fields of tulips everywhere. It was gorgeous. So anyway, love that. And then real quick, before I forget, when I was at the Fiber MacGyver booth at the Shepherd's Harvest and Wool Festival, she had these little bags that had these stitch stoppers and then a little Fiber MacGyver sticker and these barber cords. How useful. So perfect. But look at these little stitch stoppers. They are so cute. Sorry, you guys. A lot of people on YouTube are knitters. They have like gorgeous nails and they're like painted and they're beautiful. I'm just a plain old girl. Like, I don't know. I don't like doing my nails. I don't like going to get them done. I'm not fussy about my nails. And there's probably dirt under my fingernails because I've been digging in the garden this weekend. So sorry, don't have pretty nails, but gotta hold things up and show you. So maybe I should think about it. But anyway, yeah, I hope you all are enjoying your making, and yeah, hope you're enjoying spring and your making. And until next time, happy knitting. Bye.